Okay, we're ready. Hola, bienvenido a todos. Okay, week 6, we are going to be covering tonight directions, and we're also going to be covering prepositions. Okay, but before we do any of that, we're going to get warmed up. We'll just have a little chat between us. As I said to you just before we started, a few people are not joining tonight. They're going to watch on catch up. So we'll just do it between us here. And I just want you to start the conversation and then pass it on. And it can be anything that you've learned over the course of the last 5 weeks, okay? So if I start and I come to you and ask you a question, then you will respond to me, but then you then have your question to the next person. But I'll start you off and then you two can just keep going and just anything that you want to ask. It can be, how are you? What's the weather like? What's your name? How you feeling? How old are you? You can decide what your question is. Okay? So I'll start. I'll start and keep it really simple for you. Okay. Hola. Lorna, ¿qué tal?
Hola. Regular. ¿Y tú?
Yo estoy un poco resfriado. I've got a little bit of a cold.
Oh.
Resfriado. Okay.
Great word.
Resfriado. So I'll leave that with you and let you start your conversation.
Okay. Hola, Lawrence.
Hola. ¿Qué tal?
¿Dónde vives?
Well, sorry. Oh, sorry. Yeah. See, I'm not switched on tonight. Sorry, I've taken a mind blank. I can't even think. Sorry.
Okay, so the question from Lorna was ¿Dónde vives? ¿Dónde vives? Where do you live? ¿Dónde vives? That comes from the verb vivir. Okay, vivir. And then a few weeks back, we were looking at our lesson where we were looking at the verbs and how they end. And if it's you and you're talking in where you live, that verb will end in a O. So remember, you've got the stem, you've got the verb, and it's infinitive form, which is vivir. Then if it's an IR verb or an ER verb, we take the last two, the AR, the ER, or the IR off, and we add on to that. And it's always, if it's you, it ends in O. So yours would be Bibo.
Bibo in.
Where do you live?
Denny.
Bibo and Denny. Okay, so Bibo and Denny. Okay. Una pregunta. You ask Lorna a question. Anyone?
Sorry, I've taken a complete mind blank tonight.
Okay.
But I'm just not thinking here tonight at all for this.
Any question?
Can't even
Let's
think
see.
About it.
What about?
¿Qué tal is all I can think of. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
Regular.
Okay. So there's a number of questions that you could ask in terms of ¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas? That was what I couldn't even get my head around that.
Okay. What's that question?
What's your name?
Okay. And the response?
Me llamo.
Me llamo. And what is your name then?
Me llamo Lorna.
Muy bien, me llamo Lorna. And Lorna, what would you then say to Lawrence? How would you ask Lawrence? Without asking the full. Muy bien, perfecto. ¿Y tú?
¿Y tú?
Okay, so remember when you're asking any question, and if you then want to ask the same question back, you don't need to repeat the question in full. So if someone said, ¿Cómo te llamas? Me llamo Michelle. ¿Y tú? If I ask the question, ¿Cuántos años tiene? Any idea what that one is?
How old are you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. How old are you? And I could say tengo, and then the number, which we've covered. So tengo 20 años. And I could say ¿y tú? And you, without asking you the full question. Okay? Right. Come on, get your heads in gear. Let's begin. Tonight we are going to be working on these directions. We're going to find out things that are going to interest you, Lawrence. How'd you get to the bar? Lorna might want to get to go to the beach. You might you
I
might
think I've
want to
already
go
been by the sound of it.
you might want to go somewhere else. Okay, so we're going to look at how do we ask the way in Spanish, and then we are going to look at, as I said earlier, some of the prepositions. So starting off with directions, we've got a few things here. I'm going to say these from our little bubbles, and let's see if you can tell me what you think they might mean. Okay, so primero, ¿dónde está el bar?
Where is the bar?
Where's the bar?
Okay, can you both say for me? ¿Dónde está el bar?
¿Dónde está?
¿Dónde está el bar?
Muy bien. Okay. Now, next one. El parque, por favor. El parque, por favor. What do you think that means?
Where's the park, please?
The park, please. Really simple.
Please,
El
yeah.
parque, por favor. The park, please. You would ask it. When it's written, remember, with the little question mark at the beginning, this is where you're asking a question. So you would raise how you ask it. El parque, por favor. Okay, the park. Okay. What about por dónde se va a la playa? Por dónde?
Which way to the beach?
Yeah, por dónde se va la playa. So la playa is the beach. Okay, which way to the beach? We've also got perdone el museo. Perdone el museo.
Excuse me, the museum.
Yeah, perdone is when you just saying excuse me. El museo. Okay. What else do we have here? ¿Dónde están los servicios? ¿Dónde están los servicios?
Would it be just the general services, or is it like a petrol station services?
No. Los servicios is for the toilets.
Oh,
Okay, los servicios. ¿Dónde están los servicios? So little boys' room, girls' room, toilets. That's the servicios. Okay. And we've got another one. What about hay un mercado por aquí? Hay un mercado por aquí. Read the word, the text, and see if you can work that one out.
is that the market?
Well, think about the question. Hay un mercado por aquí. Any
Is the
guesses?
Aquí is here, isn't it? So is there a market here?
Hay un mercado por aquí. Is there a market here? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's try saying these. So, Lawrence, I'll give you the second one, please. El parque, por favor.
El parque, por favor.
Okay. Lorna, ¿por dónde se va a la playa?
¿Por dónde se va la playa?
Muy bien. Lawrence, perdone, el museo.
Perdone el museo.
Muy bien. Lorna, ¿dónde están los servicios?
¿Dónde están los servicios?
Muy bien. And the last one, Lawrence. Hay un mercado por aquí.
Hay un mercado por aquí.
Muy bien. Okay. So, those are all asking the way to different things or places, but there's different options that you've got in order to say it. You can just say the name of the place and then add por favor. So in this one, so I'm going to say these, and if you can repeat after me, pop yourself on mute, just otherwise we're going to get you both coming through at the same time. La playa, por favor. Okay. Now, we're asking there, la playa, por favor, is the first option, where we're saying the beach, please. We could also say, ¿dónde está la playa, por favor? ¿Dónde está la playa, por favor? So in this one, because we're asking ¿dónde?, we're asking where is the beach, please? The first one, we're just saying the name of what we're looking for, la playa, por favor. Or we can say, ¿dónde está? Another way of saying it, it's just another option which we've looked at there, is hay un mercado por aquí. Is there? So is there a market here? Hay un mercado por aquí. And you could say that about any of the other things that you were looking for. Hay un teatro por aquí. Hay un cine por aquí. So is there a theatre here? Is there a cinema here? Or you could say the name of the thing, the place, ¿dónde está el cine? But do we know if there is a cinema? So by asking hay un cine, we're asking, is there one? But if we know there's one, we could say ¿dónde está? But if we don't know if there's one, we would ask, is there a cinema or is there a theatre? Does that make sense? You can come off mute. Does that make sense to you both?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really simple. Just a couple of different options there. Say the name of the place that you're looking for and say por favor. Raise how you ask it. So it's that you're asking as a question. La playa, por favor. ¿Dónde está la playa? We're asking where it is. But if we don't know if there is one, we could say, ¿hay un playa por aquí? Now, normally we'd be able to see that, wouldn't we? If we were on the coast. But you could just ask the question. Okay, so different options on how to find different things. Okay, we're going to just have a look at some of the places that we might need to get some directions to. I've already mentioned this one earlier. El Parque. So, sorry, I should have said, pop yourself on mute and just repeat these ones for me. El Parque. Okay, you can see how that's written. Okay, this one is the train station. La estación. La estación. El hotel. El hotel. Las restaurantes. Las restaurantes. Those are just some of the things that we might talk about this evening when we're looking for directions. Las direcciones. Okay, so if we're looking for directions to go somewhere, las direcciones. Okay, asking for directions. Las direcciones. We are going to be looking at how do we get there? Do we turn left? Do we turn right? Do we go straight on? Do we cross the road? How do we get there? Because as soon as you ask for a direction from someone, they're just going to ramble off to you. Todo recto, la primera derecha. And you're going to go, okay, so we need to know what these things are. And as they're saying it, as you may notice, Spanish people can be very expressive with their hands, or they'll say to you, they'll do a lot of pointing to where they want you to go. Okay, so let's see, where's the first places that we're going to go to? So this one, we're going to the right. So I'm just going to say these, and if you can repeat them after me, just making sure you're on mute, and then we'll come off at the end of the initial instructions. A la derecha. A la derecha. Look at how it's written. A la derecha. Okay. We're now going to go to the other side. So if we were going to take a turn to the left, we'd be pointing. This one is a la izquierda. A la izquierda. So we've got that Z in the Q. Izquierda. Little bit of a tongue twister. A la izquierda. Okay. Now, this one, we want to take a turn. We're turning off to the right-hand side. So we're going to go tuerza a la derecha. Tuerza a la derecha. And the same if we were going to do the opposite of turning right, we would be going to the left. Tuerza a la izquierda. Tuerza a la izquierda. Don't worry, this is the one direction that most people struggle with the pronunciation of it for the first time, couple of times they say it. It does become easier, I promise. Okay, tuerza a la izquierda. Okay, what if I want to go straight on? Siga todo recto. Siga todo recto. Continue on the straight. So continue straight on. Todo, all the way straight. Siga todo recto. Okay. Now, before we look at anything, come back off of mute for me. Lorna, give me left and right, please.
Just for the giggle. A la derecha, a la izquierda.
Muy bien, perfecto. Lawrence, give me straight on and to the turn to the right.
Siga todo recto. And tuerza,
yeah.
Tuerza a la derecha.
Tuerza a la derecha.
Derecha.
Okay. A la derecha, a la izquierda, tuerza a la derecha, tuerza a la izquierda, siga todo recto. Lorna, what's left?
A la izquierda.
Muy bien. Lawrence, how are we going if we're going right? Where are we going?
A la derecha. A la derecha.
That's fine. Yeah, perfect. Okay, perfect. Now, when we're talking about directions, we tend to use ordinal numbers. So ordinal numbers is when we're talking about the first or the second or the third, okay? So we have to learn, how do we say if it's the first on the right, the second on the right, or the third on the right? You don't really tend to go on the fifth on the right and the sixth on the right, but we tend to use, oh, it's the first on the right over there, then you would take a turn, and wouldn't you? So first on the right, la primera. La primera. The second, la segunda. La segunda. Now, you will have heard that number before, la segunda, because when we were on primera, remember when we were talking about our food in the restaurant, we were talking about primero plato, segundo plato, okay? We didn't have a third plate, we had a postre, but just to pop these back into context, la primera, la segunda, and the third is la tercera. La tercera. Okay. How do you think then? Oh, why is my little... There we go. How do you think we would say the first on the right? Let's have a think about it. The first on the right. If we know what the first is and we know what the right is, how do you think we'd say that in a sentence then? If we asked somebody how we were going to go to La Playa, por favor. Tell me where it is. It's over there. It's the first on the right. Okay. Lorna, how do you think you might say that?
I would do it in order, but sometimes they mix and match the start. So I would do la primera a la derecha.
Okay. Lawrence, what are you thinking?
Is it the first on the right or the third on the right?
The first on the right.
First on the right. A la primera derecha. Too obvious.
No. Perfect. Okay, Lorna, la primera a la derecha. So the first, la primera a la derecha. Okay, that's the first on the right. La primera a la derecha. So you take the first on the right. What about the second on the left?
La segunda a la izquierda.
Sí, perfecto. Muy bien. La segunda a la izquierda. Okay, muy bien. Lawrence, give me the third on the right, please.
Thank God it's the right. Thank you for that. La tercera a la derecha.
La tercera a la derecha. Muy bien. Perfecto. La tercera a la derecha. Muy bien. Okay, let's have a look at some of these drawings. Okay. Where are we going here?
First on the right.
First on the right, okay? So if we're looking at the first on the right and we want to say to take, we would say tome. That comes from the verb tomar. So tome la primera calle a la derecha. Check out my screen. Tome la primera calle a la derecha. Let's try saying that one. Tome la primera calle a la derecha.
Tome.
And I should have said, sorry, calle, with the C-A-L-L-E, calle, that's street, okay? Primera calle a la derecha. We're now saying we're going to take the first street on the right. Tome la primera calle a la derecha. Okay. Where do you think we're going on this one? Where's this one going? Which street are we going to take on this one?
So will that be tome la segunda calle a la izquierda?
Muy bien, Lorna. Perfectamente. Absolutely perfect. Tome la segunda calle a la izquierda. Muy bien. Okay. Tome la segunda calle a la izquierda. Okay, let's have a look and see what's this one. Okay, Lawrence. Where are we going on this one? In English, first of all, which street are we going on?
It's the third on the right.
Okay. Now, dime en español, por favor. Tell me in Spanish.
Tome la tercera calle a la derecha.
Muy bien. The C-A-L-L-E, it's a ye, so it's calle, where you got a double L, okay? Calle.
Calle.
Calle, okay? Muy bien, perfect. Well done. Super duper. Both of you done really well on those directions. Tome la tercera calle a la derecha. Muy bien. Okay. Right. Let's see. Where are we going to go next? We're going to have a little bit of a... Okay. Couple of new ones for you. What do you think we're doing here?
Siga todo recto.
This one is it's a bit of a crossing the street actually. I think the arrows just went the wrong way. So in this one, we should be crossing the street. Cruce Oh no, actually, we're not crossing at the street. We're crossing at the La Plaza. We're crossing at the junction. The way this one is actually doing. Cruce la plaza. Cruce la plaza. Sometimes some of the drawings are not just perfect. Cruce la plaza. Okay. Huh. What can you see? What's on this one?
We traffic lights.
We traffic lights, yeah. Okay. These are called semáforos. Semáforos. Okay. Now, if we want to pass them, it's pase. Pase los semáforos. Pase. We're going to pass them. Pase los semáforos. What have we got here?
Bridge.
El puente. Pase el puente. So we want to go past the bridge. Pase el puente. Pase el puente. So that's a new word. Puente. That's for bridge. Pass the bridge. Okay. Right. Let's have a look at. We're not gonna use the game, but I'm just going to get you to give me some directions and what they are. Let's see. Lawrence, if I say to you, tome la tercera calle a la derecha. Tome la tercera calle a la derecha.
Take a third on the right, is it?
Sí, muy bien. Tome la tercera calle a la derecha. Lorna, tuerza a la izquierda. Tuerza a la izquierda.
I'm going left.
Tuerza.
Tuerza. I can't remember that one.
What do you think it sounds like? Tuerza. What it might.
Turn. It's
Turn. Tuerza. Tuerza a la izquierda. Okay. What about... Okay, let's go with Lawrence. Tome la primera calle a la izquierda y siga todo recto. Tome la primera calle a la izquierda y sigue todo recto.
Take the first turn on the left and go straight on.
Sí, muy bien, perfecto. Ok. Lorna. Tome la segunda calle a la derecha y cruce la plaza.
So we are turning second right, crossing. I've forgotten the last piece, sorry.
Plaza.
Nope.
Okay, so the plaza can be at the square.
Square.
Okay, don't cruce la plaza. Okay, let's see. Oh, there's one on here I haven't given you. Simple one. Got lots of them. There's a word on here. Rotonda. Rotonda. What does it sound like?
Roundabout.
Roundabout. Okay. So, rotonda. If I said to you, tome la tercera calle y cruce la rotonda y tuerza la derecha. A la derecha. Tuerza a la derecha.
I got as far as turn 3rd Street on the left, and then there was a roundabout, and then
Yep.
I'm lost.
Okay. What did you get, Lawrence?
3rd Street on the left, roundabout. Forgotten the number on the right. Was it the second right? I honestly can't remember. I
Okay.
should have made notes, but I didn't.
Right, let me give you that one. Tome la tercera calle a la izquierda. Tome la tercera calle a la izquierda y cruce la rotonda y tuerza a la derecha. So first part. Tome la tercera calle a la izquierda.
3rd turn on the left. 3rd road on the left.
Yeah. 3rd Street, yeah, on the left. Y cruce la rotonda.
Cross the roundabout.
Cross over. So if you crossed over it, where would you go to?
Straight ahead, really.
Yeah, so you can go over it, or you can go straight ahead, or cruce, yeah?
Yep.
Y tuerza a la derecha.
Turn right.
Turn right.
And then turn right. Muy bien. Okay. Let's practice some of those. Lorna, can you give Lawrence a direction, please? Can be any of them. Only I'm going to take them away.
Well, that makes it hard.
It's supposed to.
Tome la primera calle a la derecha. That'll do.
Okay, gracias. Okay, Lawrence, where are we going?
Question.
Tome la primera calle a la.
Yeah, you give me the hard one, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
Pase los semáforos. Did I pronounce that right?
Yeah, but where's Lorna telling you to go first of all?
Oh, sorry, where's she telling me to go? Oh God.
Tommy?
She's telling me to turn the first on the right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then was there
that
a second bit? Oh, was
no,
it? Okay.
She kept it really simple for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you give Lorna some directions?
I was already with myself there. Oh God. Right. Tuerce a la derecha. Cruce la plaza.
So I'm doing the 3rd turning on the right, crossing the square. Is that right?
Turning right and going across the street. I think that's what I said.
You said turn right and cross the square. Yeah.
Cross the square, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's have a look at some of these words and let's just see if we can get these down. We're nearly there. Derecha.
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 Okay, if we're going to the derecha, a la derecha, where are we going?
Right.
Okay. A la izquierda.
Left.
Okay. A la izquierda. Let's try pronouncing that. A la izquierda.
A la izquierda.
A la izquierda.
Muy bien. Okay. If we are going to cruce la calle. Cruce la calle.
Cross the street.
Sí, muy bien. We did cruce la plaza, but we can also say cruce la calle. Okay, cross the street. Cruce la calle. Okay, what about sigue todo recto?
Straight on.
I'm going to go straight on. Okay. What if we go to tome la segunda calle?
Take the second street.
Tome la segunda calle. Muy bien. Take the second street. Perfect. Okay. You'll have some worksheets from Jen on this. She'll email them to you. So it will just reinforce the words that we've done, just looking at your directions. There's many other directions, but those are those are the main ones that you would use if you were asking somebody, how do you get somewhere? So it's just thinking about how you would say the name of the place, la playa, por favor. You're basically saying the beach, please. Or you can ask, ¿dónde está? Where is? Or I, is there? And then the thing that you want to find. Okay. Any of that you want to go over? Which any parts that you're finding harder than others?
Left.
Good
Left.
A horrible word for left.
It is izquierda. Okay,
Izquierda.
let's izquierda.
Izquierda.
So when you're back on your language nut as well, there'll be some tasks on there for directions. Make sure Jen sets them that they are set up and you can get some directions tasks and just, again, listening to them, doing some of those, saying it over and over. It is one of those words that once you've said it often enough, you will remember it and you will be able to pronounce it. Okay. Any other ones that are horrible or you need help with?
Not quite as bad as the town hall, but it's up there, isn't it?
Ayuntamiento.
Nuts.
Okay, they will come to you. They do get easier as you pronounce them. Okay, are you happy to move on? We're going to look at prepositions, okay, or prepositions. This is where we're going to look at prepositions, which is effectively telling us where something is located. So it's the position of something. Where is something positioned in relation to something else? So prepositions, as I said, they are positions. They tell us where something is positioned in relation to something. And they're really helpful when we are given but also getting instructions and also understanding instructions. So I'm just going to give you some examples of prepositions. So the first one, he sat on the chair. He sat on the chair. It's telling you about the position of the person. There is some milk in the fridge. Again, it's telling you about the position of the milk and where it is. There is some milk in the fridge. She was hiding under the table. She was hiding under the table. So again, describing the position of the person where she is. The cat jumped off the counter. I think we might have one more. He drove over the bridge. Okay, so this is just looking at some examples of telling us the position of the item. Okay, now I'm going to give you some words which are the prepositions, and then it's basically looking at what do they all mean. Okay, so I'm going to say some words and I'm going to get you just to pop yourself on mute and repeat them. And then we're going to look at what do we think these ones mean. Okay, so primero we have delante. Delante. Detrás. detrás, debajo, debajo, sobre, en, entre, al lado, cerca, lejos. Enfrente. Okay. Any ideas on any of these words? Oh,
No.
okay. Might be easier if I pop up here what
Ooh.
some of them are. Now let's see if we can now look at the words and let's see what you think the English one is for each of them, okay? So let's see. We've got delante, detrás, debajo, sobre, en, entre, el lado, cerca, lejos, enfrente. Now, some of these words, not many, but one or two you've seen before as we've gone through. So we've got the English for them here. And we can see we've got near, under, between, on, beside, opposite, behind, inside, far, and in front. Yeah. I'm making sure I haven't missed any. Okay. Let's have, are there any that you think you might have an idea as to what they might be?
Cerca.
Cerca. What do you think cerca is?
Remember, I think it's near.
Yep. Cerca is near. Okay, we did cover that in something not that long ago. Cerca is near. Okay, so we've got cerca, just seeing where we are. So cerca, we got that one. Okay. Take a guess, Lorna. Anything that you think that, oh, what's that one? What do you think it might mean? Pick a word.
I think in is in.
In is?
In, as in
Yeah.
inside.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. In is in. That's what that was. In or inside. Yeah.
Don't be naughty.
Okay.
Me.
Lawrence. Any other ones you think you might know what they are?
Enfrente.
Enfrente. Okay. And
I'll have a guess at in front.
enfrente. Enfrente is in front of. Yeah. Es enfrente de mi casa. So it's in front of my house, enfrente de mi casa. Es enfrente del restaurante. It's in front of the restaurant. Okay, enfrente. Muy bien. Okay. Lorna, choose another one for me.
I'll take a guess on sobre. Beside.
Sobre. Oh, sobre. That's a good one. Sobre. Sobre. Now let's see. Has it got on here the word I'm looking for? Sobre. I would say I'm looking, it should be like, it should be sobre, it should be like above. Okay, let me just make sure that, let's choose another word for now. It should be like on top of or above. So there might be just on this one.
It's
Yeah,
not on.
yeah, I
Yes.
was looking for above or on top of, but there's an on. Yeah, couldn't see that one there. Right, so strawberry. So it's kind of a on top of.
Okay.
There is another word that's not on here that you could say encima de la mesa. That also means on top of, encima de la mesa, which is on top of the table. But you can say sobre also. Okay, Lawrence, give me what else do you think you might want to take a stab at?
Debajo.
Debacle. What do you think that might mean?
Is it far?
No, it's
I'm gonna work
not.
with far. That's bugging me because
We did the
Yeah.
cerca and we did near and far recently. Might not have picked it out from there. So debacle.
Behind?
Debacle, no, it's actually below or under.
No.
So if it's under, debajo de la mesa, under the table. So it's under or below. Debajo is to be underneath something. Okay, debajo. Lorna, give me one that you think. What? Take a guess. What do you think?
Al lado.
Al lado.
Opposite.
Al lado. Al lado. Estás a mi lado. Estás a tu lado. That's to be beside something. Al lado is to be beside something. Okay. What have we not got on here? What else have we got? So we've had cerca, al lado, en, enfrente, sobre, debajo. Okay. What about detrás? What do you think detrás might mean? Detrás.
Cool guess.
No? Detrás is behind. Detrás.
It's much easier when they're more similar to the English words.
I know. So let's see, what else have we got? Yeah, there's something that we've not had yet. What about lejos? Lejos.
We've not used far or between.
Okay. I know I'm writing down beside me each of the words and what they are so that I can see which ones we haven't done yet. So lejos. Take a guess.
Far.
Lejos is far. Yeah. And that leaves us between, which is entre. Okay. So let's have a look at these. I'm going to say these, and if you can say these after me, let's have some pronunciation. Okay. Delante. delante. So that's to be in front of. Delante el estación. Delante, and then whatever the place is. Estás delante al bar. It's in front of the bar. Delante. Okay. Detrás. Detrás. Detrás del supermercado. That might be, it's behind the supermarket. Detrás. Delante in front of, detrás behind. Debajo. Debajo el sofá. Debajo de la mesa. So it could be abajo, under the sofa or under the table. Debajo. Sobre. That means it's on something. Sobre la mesa. On the table. En armario. En el armario is in the wardrobe. Could be inside of the wardrobe. Or en el coche. It's in the car. En el coche. Okay, what about if it's between? Entre. Entre estos bares. Entre estos dos bares. It's between those two bars. Entre. Al lado. It's beside. Al lado de mi casa. It's beside my house. Al lado de mi casa. Cerca. Es cerca de la playa. It's close to the beach. Es cerca de casa de mi madre. It's close to my mum's house. Cerca. Lejos. It's far. Es muy lejos. Muy lejos. It's really far. Es muy lejos. Or if it's opposite, enfrente. Enfrente. Okay. Come off mute. Right. Any of those that we're struggling with? Are we good with them all? Any of them that we need to pronounce? Drill through a little bit more. Are we good?
They're just so very different from the English version.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of words that are very simple and are very similar. And then there's other words in Spanish that are the complete opposite. Okay. Not there are some directions and kind of prepositions are some of them and verbs, but it's like sometimes once you know, like everything, once you know something like these, you don't have any more of them to learn because these are the most common ones and the things that you use. But they are very different to what we would say. Whereas when you look at things like numbers, sometimes some of the numbers are quite similar. Months of the year, some of the months of the year are quite similar. And there's a lot of words that are similar and spelt quite similar and they're pronounced quite similar as well. And then there's others you go, oh wow, that's like nothing like the words I thought it might be. And it's completely opposite of it. So they are quite different. But you don't have many other prepositions that you need to learn. These are the ones that you would use. You would tend to use in front of, behind you, or underneath, or it's on something or beside something. Near or far are always used really in terms of your directions anyway, and you'll use like cerca and lejos quite a lot. You might not always say, you know, opposite or on something, but it's choosing the ones that you're kind of you're going to really need to know. But they are words that a Spanish person would use as they were giving you a direction or telling you where something is as well. So it's important that you learn them. Okay. Any of them that you're struggling with the pronunciation? No, just struggling to remember them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, right. So you've got your near and far, which you definitely need to try and recall. Cerca and lejos. Delante, detrás, and debajo, in front, behind, and under. All of those you will use as well. It's useful to have them all, but those are ones that you definitely would need to be able to recognize. In front, behind, and under, near and far. Oh, and also beside, al lado. Okay. It's like sometimes just like the numbers, picking out some of the things that you know you're going to need, the ones that are going to be the most useful and the most commonly used. And then just repetition, learning the word and thinking, yeah, what is that one? And popping it into context. Okay, right. Let's see if we can. If I am going to translate the sentence to find out what is located at the points on the map, okay? I'll read them out and then I'm going to give one of these to you to say it, translate it, and tell me at what point you think we're at, okay? El restaurante. Let me just check this. Está enfrente de la estación. Translate this and what is located at points A to E on the map. Yeah, but you haven't actually. Oh, you need your worksheet for that one. Okay, we will do this one next week because you need your worksheet for that one. It's got the pictures on it. Okay, we'll come back to that one. Right. Okay. Okay. The description, position of furniture, and the plan. Okay, okay, dormitorio, bastante grande. Position of furniture in the plan. This one, okay. You don't have the worksheets for this one just now, but you will have these from Jen. And then what you can do is read the descriptions in your worksheet and position your furniture into the bedroom plan that you are given. So this is the worksheet that she's going to send to you. So I'm going to do some problem solving on the first one so that you understand what we're doing, and then you have to take the description and position the furniture into where you think it might be. Okay, so the first one, bienvenido a mi dormitorio. Es bastante grande. La cama está a la izquierda. La cómoda está debajo de la ventana. El armario está entre la cama. El osito está en la cama. Now, some of these words you might not recognize it. That's okay. It's just saying that this is el dormitorio de Ana. It's Anna's bedroom. And what it wants you to do is to read the description and position the furniture. So you know what la cama is. Yeah? What's la cama? Anyone?
Yes, is that bed?
Yeah. Okay. La cama. La cama está a la izquierda. So on the plan, it's telling you where something is, and it wants you just to pop it into where it is. Okay. It's also got el osito está en la cama. Who's osito?
It's teddy bear.
The teddy bear, el osito. And where is it? Está en la cama. These are just some little problem solving where it's saying where something is, and it's just being able to recognize it. These are in your worksheets for next, the ones that are being sent out to you tonight. So if you get an opportunity, you can go through that and see if you can problem solve some of them. Okay, right. We're going to just finish off a little bit on these prepositions in terms of what else they do. So lots of prepositions are always followed by the word de. So when you're looking at, if you said delante, okay, or detrás, so delante, in front of, detrás, behind, delante coche. If you just said delante coche, it doesn't sound right, delante coche. So it would tend to always have the preposition are followed by the word de, delante de, and then the thing, delante de, okay? Now let's have a look at some of these. Couple of examples that are just coming up on here. So this one, la piscina está delante de la estación. La piscina está delante de la estación. What do you think that's saying there? Any ideas?
The swimming pool is in front of the train station.
Muy bien. La piscina, the swimming pool, está delante de la estación. The pool, or the swimming pool, is in front of the station. Muy bien. Okay. The pool is in front of the station, and it's in front of, or the pool, or the swimming pool. Okay. Now, where we have de, and then we have an L. So if we go back to that one, it was a la estación. If it was something and L rather than la, L and la, then the de and the L become del. So I'm going to just give you a couple of examples. You have la piscina está delante de la estación. Now that is your swimming pool. However, if you have la piscina está delante de el parque, that is removed by the de el and it becomes del. Okay, the pool, where is it now?
Park.
In front of the park. Okay, está delante del parque. So it's purely if the L comes before, not if it's a la, but only if it's an L, okay? Then that has to be changed to del. You wouldn't have de el. If you put that in there as a sentence, la piscina está delante de el parque, it doesn't quite flow in terms of in front of the wherever the thing is, okay? So the de and the L become a del. So we want to get you to write some sentences. And let's see if you can get these. Now take your time, and I'm going to get you to pop them into chat for me. And I'm going to just pop one up for you. Next to the park. How do you think we would write next to the park?
Would that be near?
Mm,
I don't have next.
okay. Take a guess. If it wasn't next, Lorna, what's one of the other words that we were using earlier?
I've gone to near.
Okay. Okay. I'm just going to keep them there.
Oh, I got my words wrong.
That's okay. Right. Okay, let's have a look at what the second one might be. Next to the river, El Rio. We didn't cover that one earlier. There's a couple of we have in the past though, but next to the river. What do you think that might be? Okay. Right, let's try this one. Next to the supermarket, el supermercado.
It keeps changing my spelling.
That's okay. I know what you mean.
Just as well, because I'm struggling.
It's okay. Next to.
I'm trying to find supermercado. Oh,
Okay. Let's try this one. Opposite the shops. Opposite the shops. What was the word for opposite?
I don't know.
Opposite the shops. Let's see.
So is that just an in front of then?
Okay, let's see. Good answers. Okay, next one. Opposite the post office. The post office is correos. Opposite the post office.
It keeps changing my spelling.
That's okay. I know what.
Oh, it's made that up completely.
Okay. Let's have a peek. Okay. And who we got next? Okay. Opposite the church. La iglesia. La iglesia. That's the church. La iglesia. A ver. Muy bien. Okay. Okay. And we have any more? Oh, we do. We've got another one. In the youth hostel, el hostal. el hostal. In the youth hostel. In the youth hostel. I'm just writing them at the same time as you guys are doing them. Okay. And I think we have one more. On the bridge. On the bridge.
Here's the word.
El puente. On the bridge. Okay. Let's see, what have we got? Do we have any more? Oh, we've got another one, sorry. I thought that that was our last one. We got two more actually. Behind the museum. Behind the museum. Behind el museo. Okay, let's see. Don't jump. Okay, right, we got one more. In front of the golf course. In front of the golf course. What are you laughing at?
I don't know the word.
In frente de la golf course.
I'm doing my very best.
In front of the golf course. Del campo de golf. Muy bien. Okay. We got a little bit okay. En frente. Muy bien. En frente del golf course. Okay. Oh, hold on. There's my okay. So what have we got next to the park? What do you think next to is? What's next to something?
Cerca.
Well, cerca, what does cerca mean? Near? Okay, so that's near to. What's something that we would say in English if we said something was next to? We would probably say beside.
Okay.
Yeah, rather than near. Yeah, sometimes it's not always a 100% translation. If I was saying something was cerca, I would be saying that's quite near to the park. Near and next are not really the same, are they? If you were describing where something was, but if it was next to, I would say in English, you say, oh, that's beside the park, wouldn't you? Or you could say it's beside or it's next to. So you would tend to use beside if you were using Spanish. So if it was beside, what was the word for beside? Can you remember, Lorna?
Al lado.
Al lado, al lado, al lado. Okay, so al lado del parque. Al lado del parque. So if we stick with al lado because it's next to, then Lawrence, what have we got for if it was next to the river? Don't worry about what you've put in chat, and if it is right, that's fine. But let's just that's okay because I'm just seeing how you're writing things, which is great.
Al lado del río.
Al lado del río. Okay. Muy bien. What about the next one? Next to the supermarket. Yeah, next to the supermarket.
Al lado del supermercado.
Supermercado. Okay, next to the supermarket. Yeah? Perfect. Al lado del supermercado. Al lado del supermercado. Okay. Yeah, al lado del supermercado. Okay. Then what about opposite? We've got a couple that are opposite. Who can remember what opposite is? So we've got opposite the shops. Anyone?
Enfrente.
Enfrente, opposite the shops.
De las tiendas.
Enfrente a las tiendas. Yeah? Is that what you said, Lawrence?
De las. Las. Yep.
Enfrente a las tiendas. Yeah?
Okay.
Was that what you said?
I said enfrente de las. Is it the DE?
Yeah,
LAS?
yeah. Yeah. I just wasn't quite sure. I was struggling
Yeah.
to hear you on that one.
That's
Okay,
all right.
that's fine. Okay. Let's just choose another one or two from these. I'm going to go with we've done the opposite, so we know the opposite is enfrente. Lorna, on the bridge. So we go with on.
On is sobre
Mm-hmm.
del puente.
Sí. Muy bien. Muy bien. Sobre. On the bridge. Okay. What else have we got? We're going to do this one as well because we haven't. We've got a behind. So, Lawrence, what was behind? What's the word for behind, first of all?
Detrás
Detrás
del museo.
del museo.
Museo.
Yeah, detrás del museo. That one's right. Detrás del museo. Muy bien. And Lorna, let's go with in front of the golf course. El campo de golf. Okay, so how do we say in front of?
Enfrente del campo de golf.
Muy bien, enfrente del campo de golf. Muy bien, perfecto. Okay, in front of the golf course. Perfect. Muy bien. Okay, so quite a bit on looking at directions tonight. So you've got quite a bit on the directions and also now on the prepositions, just looking at where things are positioned in relation to an item or a place, etc. That was there's quite a lot in that lesson, quite a lot to take in. So you've got quite a few things in terms of when you are asking for directions and different ways to ask for directions, where you're going to just say the name of the place or the that you want to go to, or you're going to ask where is it, or is if there is one of those things. So let's look at the first one. What we've got on here. We've got la iglesia, so the church. La iglesia, por favor. You just saying the church, please. If you just say to a Spanish person, la iglesia, por favor, they know you're asking for the church and where they know that you don't have to say to them, ¿Dónde está la iglesia? That's a bit more polite and formal to say that, but you can just say la iglesia, por favor. So that's your option. You can also say, ¿Dónde está la iglesia? Where is the church? Por favor. Always with a por favor. And if you were in a town and if you didn't know if there was a church, you would say, hay, is there? Hay una iglesia. Aquí. Hay una iglesia aquí. Because it is a one here. And they would tell you. So you get 3 different ways of asking for directions to something. Then you're looking at what are your directions and your places. How are we going to go if we're going to go to the right, Lorna?
A la derecha.
And if we're going to go left, Lawrence?
Oh, my internet's going. La izquierda.
A la izquierda. Muy
Yeah.
bien. Okay, so we know where we're going if we're going left and right. And then we've got all those other things that, you know, if we're going to tome, if we're going to take a right, tome a la derecha. We've got all the other things that you've learned in terms of crossing, etc. So just working through them. And then your prepositions that you've learned are in terms of things that might be near or far. If something's near you or something's far from you. If it's beside you, in front of you, or behind you. Or you could have something on top of or something under. Okay. So quite a lot of new words in there as well in terms of your vocabulary. Jen will be popping in a directions game in Language Nut, and she's just popped in for me to say that yes, so directions. So you've got learn and practice and test. And you've got donde están, how do I get to, you turn, you've got left and right, you've got sigue, tome. There's a couple of other things in here as well, just because I can see it on the screen. Gira, which is you turn. Now we've also got tuerza. Gira is just another word that you can use to say you turn. Gira, gira a la derecha. Okay, so you turn on the right. You can also use tuerza. Sigue, tome, donde, all these things. So everything that we've covered tonight, there is a full kind of a little quiz in Language Nut. Now you can learn by just clicking on the little buttons and listening, and they will say it and you can repeat. Your practice is just some more practice, and then your test is like all the little ones where you kind of are on your timer, and then you just work your way through depending on which of the ones you want to do as well. So there's a full couple of tasks on that on terms of directions. So again, just spend some time on that when she's sent that to you, and see if you can get from, what is it, 436 in the world, Lawrence?
440 maybe.
Oh, I wasn't far out. Okay, let's
to me there.
let's see where you get to for next week. So in terms of your directions, Lorna, tell me something that you've learned tonight.
Well, lots of new words.
Yeah.
But El Campo de Golf's going to stick for a while, isn't it?
Okay, El Campo de Golf. ¿Por qué? Do you play golf?
Absolutely not, but taking a random guess kind of one.
Okay, no worries. Super duper. What about you, Lawrence?
Yeah, loads of new stuff. The prepositions I'd like to get a bit more familiar with.
Yeah.
In front of, behind, etc., near and far. Near was one that I did remember. It must have been on one of the Language Nut things that I did recently. So
yeah, and we covered it in one of the previous classes when we were talking about when we were doing near, far, a key here. We were doing that, even though we weren't talking about directions. We were talking about it in the one where we were looking at, is there a restaurant near here, or etc. So that was in those ones. So that was good stuff. Lots of new vocabulary, lots for you to be cracking on with in terms of doing them on Language Nut. Say Jen will send you a couple of things out in terms of the your worksheet, and she'll set you up with some tasks on there as well. So try and have some fun with that as well, and see how you go. And I will see you all next week. Okay, any questions before we go? Other than don't tell me you got a sore head, because I can say you're like, oh my goodness, that is just like so many things I've got to take in this week.
A lot of work, but we'll do
There's a lot of new words in there this week. But that's okay. You can start to build some more sentences and some more confidence. Please do a little bit of work on your directions. Next week, we are going to be doing a lesson which is predominantly on verbs. Don't be scared, but there's quite a lot. But it's going to help you take a lot of the words that you've got and start building sentences with each of the different things that we can do. We're going to be looking at our present verbs and different AR verbs, IR verbs, and ER verbs. We've done a couple so far, but just very limited. But next week is going to be all about verbs, and that will really help you take what you've learned so far and put all of these things into sentences where I live somewhere or I go to the shops, but now taking it from, you know, that little sentence and putting it into much bigger sentences with lots of meaning behind it. You need the words in order to form the sentences, but then you also need the verbs to express what it is that you're doing. Okay. Your internet will be fine next week, Lawrence, before you start telling me it won't be.
Good. I'm looking good.
It is looking good. It's looking good.
We're getting near
Okay.
winter. It's getting dark nights and the weather's not so good. Now I live in the country, so you never know.
I'm actually sitting in the office and I'm looking, I've got a skylight here, but there's no skylight. It is so dark. It's just went from being kind of not too bad. Like 2 weeks ago, there was still daylight at this time, but there's none. We were the same. I was on holiday. I just got back yesterday evening. I was up north in Killarney, and the nights were just, you know, it was 6 o'clock. All of a sudden you were out walking and it just kind of it just came on you like from nowhere, pitch black. Yeah, we're not even out of September and it's just we're in winter, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
And it's been so stormy as well the last few days. We've had terrible weather through here.
Last night.
Yeah, a bit blustery and a bit windy. Okay, right, I'm going to finish up, get myself a wee, not a hot toddy, but something for my throat and try and get rid of my cold. And I will see you all next week. Okay?
Adios.
Gracias, adios, hasta
Gracias.
luego.